This is Tom Harmon inviting you to enjoy a special sports feature, highlights of the Rams in action. This program is brought to you by United Delco. For the best in car service, remember Delco DC-12 dry charge batteries and Delco Remy replacement parts. Simply say Delco. The 1963 National Football League campaign is one the Rams hope will be remembered as the pivotal season in their march back to the top. It was the year that marked the debut of Holland Savary and his young coaching staff, and the return to respectability in the one-loss column. In fact, the Rams played better than .500 ball during the last half of the season, winning 4 and losing only 3 down the stretch, and narrowly missing victory in 2 of those defeats. Let's begin by reviewing 4 1963 victories. The 1963 season opened for the Rams just as the 1962 season had ended. General improvement was apparent, but defeats piled up. On October 20th at the Coliseum, the Rams hosted the Minnesota Vikings, and the Los Angeles losing streak had reached 5 games. Savary, intent on putting some new life into the team, reinstalled Roman Gabriel as the starting quarterback, moved Ben Wilson into the starting fullback spot, and decided to alternate guards Don Chewy and Joe Schiavelli as play-carrying messengers. Almost from the outset, the Rams indicate they're going all out to snap the doldrums that had engulfed them. And they get on the scoreboard first when Gabriel connects with N. Carroll Dale. It gives Los Angeles a 7-0 lead. A 46-yard field goal by Fred Cox cuts the Rams' lead to 7-3 early in the second quarter, and then Francis Tarkington, the Vikings' #1 quarterback and the NFL's #1 scrambler, takes charge. Watch now as our Delco camera follows the magical Minnesota quarterback. Finally, it's Jerry Reichow who outmaneuvers and then outjumps Nat Whitmire. He completes a 57-yard touchdown play, but somehow, after Tarkington's antics, the touchdown itself seems a bit anticlimactic, doesn't it? Anyhow, thanks to Tarkington, the scoreboard reads Vikings 10, Rams 7. But the Rams fight back. They begin this drive from their own 20. And after 2 plays, net only 2 yards, Gabriel and Jim Phillips come through on 3rd down. Jim races to the Minnesota 36. The drive continues, and with blocks from Art Hunter, Joe Schiavelli, and Charlie Cowan, Dick Bass cracks the middle for 10 yards and a first down on the Viking 2. Art Perkins comes off the bench to try for those final 2 yards and drives into the end zone. The scoreboard now shows Rams 14, Vikings 10, and that's the score at halftime. The third quarter proved difficult all year long for the Rams, and going into this 6th game of the season, they have found this post-intermission slumping to be fatal. The jinx holds today as fullback Bill Brown runs the second half kickoff back 78 yards. And following Brown's stunning run and the ensuing kickoff, the Rams fumbled. The Vikings recovered and quickly moved into scoring territory again. The stage is set for more heroics by Tarkington, and Francis responds with more scrambling. He eludes Dave Jones, locates Brown at the goal line, fires, and it's another Minnesota touchdown. Quickly, almost like pickpockets at work, the Vikings hold a 24-14 lead, and it appears the third quarter jinx is going to ruin the Rams once more. Midway in the third quarter, the Rams still trail by 10 points. But now Dame Fortune frowns on frantic Francis. He is forced out of the pocket. Throws off balance, and the pass is off target. All-pro linebacker Jack Pardee makes a leaping interception and a return of 5 yards. 4 plays later, Gabriel passes to Phillips at the sideline. The battling redhead caught 54 passes in 1963, but scored only 1 touchdown, and he badly wants one here. But he is nailed just 2 yards short of the goal. However, Gabriel, who had one of his finest days ever, has the answer. The Vikes are expecting a rush up the middle, but Gabe fools them. He lopes around right end for the score to cut the Minnesota margin to 24-21, and early in the fourth quarter, Danny Villanueva's field goal ties the score. Still later in the fourth quarter, Tarkington finds more trouble. Bobby Smith hits intended receiver Paul Flatley, and Whitmire intercepts on the Viking 47. His runback sets up another field goal try by Villanueva, and the game rides on Danny's talented toe. The kick is good. The Rams stave off the Vikings in the final minutes, and much to the delight of the Ram fans, post their first victory of the season, 27-24. Following the Minnesota triumph, the Rams host the San Francisco 49ers, and the game is billed as the Battle of the Comebackers. While the Rams were beating the Vikings last Sunday, the 49ers were pulling what proved to be the upset of the NFL season by soundly whipping the mighty Chicago Bears. Both teams want to prove that last week's heroics were not accidental. The Rams begin moving at the outset. Gabriel disguises his play perfectly with a fake to the left, lobs a screen pass to Bass. The play gains 14 yards. Now watch number 36 at the lower right of the screen on this play. He's fullback Ben Wilson. He blocks Matt Hazeltine beautifully as Bass darts through the hole and races for 15 yards. San Francisco is also penalized for grabbing Bass's face mask. The ball is only a yard from the goal, and Wilson becomes the ball carrier now. He cuts inside end, and the Rams have scored first. It's Rams 7, 49ers nothing. Again in the second quarter, the Rams begin to move. Our Delco camera is on Bass as he hits through the right side and gets good blocking, racing for 30 yards into 49er territory. Gabriel is a better runner than many persons give him credit for, and he shows it here. He is forced out of the cup, but he still manages to pick up 16 yards before being upended. On the next play, Big Gabe shows perfect timing and a nice soft touch as his pass leads Dale into the end zone to make it 14-0. The Rams are in front by 2 touchdowns now, and the Coliseum faithful love the wonderful turnabout. But it's not going to be a runaway. Lamar McCann finally gets the San Francisco offense moving. He connects with Clyde Connor. And Clyde makes the gain 24 yards. Next, it's rookie Don Lisbon. He goes around left end and gets some help from his blockers as he rumbles for 20 yards before he finally is stopped by Eddie Metter, who comes clear across the field from the opposite side to help make the play. Two plays later, the veteran J.D. Smith gets the call from the 1-yard line. He cracks over for the touchdown, and at halftime, it's the Rams 14 and the 49ers 7. But that old third-quarter bugaboo still is hanging around to haunt the Rams. Early in that period, McCann hands off to Lisbon, who throws a wobbly pass to end Gary Knafel. Knafel makes a nice run after the Rams turn him loose. And he completes a 45-yard play. It's 14-14, and Coach Savari and the Rams are not too happy with the situation. And the situation gets worse. We're still in the third period as McCann spots flanker Bernie Casey. Casey makes a leaping catch and goes for 39 yards deep into Ram territory. Two plays later, Jim Vollenweider hits the right side, and the 49ers have come back from a 14-0 deficit to take a 21-14 lead, and they hold that lead as we move into the fourth quarter. But once that old devil third quarter is over, the Rams move quickly from their own 20, and they are on the 49 as Gabriel fades to pass. Gabe locates his favorite target, Carroll Dale. Dale makes the catch. The rest is easy, and the score is tied 21-21. On the very next series, Gabriel completes a pass 38 yards to Phillips, and the Rams have a first down on the 12. Gabe fades to pass, finds a hole up the middle, and heads for the goal. He's met at the 2-by-2 49ers, but he bangs through for the score. It's the winning touchdown as the defense holds the 49ers the rest of the way, and the Rams post their second straight win. Final score 28-21. Following the wins over Minnesota and San Francisco, the Rams go on the road and drop narrow decisions to both the Vikings and Chicago Bears, then moved into Detroit for the final game of the trip. The Ram pass defense had the big play when it was needed this day. We're watching 4 of the interceptions made by Los Angeles. 1 by Cliff Livingston, 2 by Eddie Metter, and 1 by Bobby Smith. Amazingly, entering this game, Lion quarterback Earl Morrall was on a long, hot streak that had seen him move to near the top of the NFL passing statistics. But interceptions and the Ram touchdown pass combination of Gabriel and Dale are the story of this game. We pick up the action late in the first quarter with the Rams deep in Detroit territory. Gabriel passes up the middle to Dale, who dives to the Detroit 9. On the next play, Bass shows amazing power for a little guy. The scooter bounces off Tom Hall and Darius McCord and booms into the end zone to give the Rams a 7-0 lead. But there are a lot of completions in Morrall today, and in addition to his interception, he hits Gale Cogdill on this play, good for 28 yards. Then 3 plays later, he rolls to his right and spots Barr. Terry breaks free, and the score is tied 7-7. Now watch Gabriel neatly sidestep Tom Hall and launch a long pass. Dale's all alone at the 25, and it's an easy trip home. The play gives the Rams a 14-7 halftime lead. At the outset of that nasty old third quarter, the Rams have Detroit pinned on the 1-yard line. It's third down, but Morrall has the answer. He throws first to Barr, then to Cogdill, and finally to Jim Gibbons for the payoff, and the score is tied at 14-all. It's early in the fourth quarter now as Morrall goes out to pass to Cogdill for 11 yards to continue the aerial onslaught. And now Tom Watkins gets into the Detroit passing parade. It's a short aerial from Morrall, and Watkins goes to the Rams 17 with some mighty nifty footwork. Two plays later, Barr speeds into the end zone to take another strike, and the Lions have come from behind to take a 21-14 lead. Detroit now attempts an onside kick to try to increase its lead, but alert work by Charlie Cowan, who dives on the ball, prevents Ram disaster. And in this day of the Battle of the Air Forces, Gabriel has more bombs left. He passes to Dale for 14 yards. And then goes right back to the same receiver. It's a nice over-the-shoulder catch that ties the score again. Our Delco camera now catches 2 big defensive plays by Mike Henry, which foils Detroit's bid to break the tie. Thanks to Mike's quick reactions, the Lions are forced to punt to the Rams. And then Gabriel sets to apply the crusher. It's his third touchdown pass of the day to Dale. Gabriel winds up with 289 yards, and Dale with 207 yards. And the Rams take home an exciting triumph, 28-21. After the big win at Detroit, the Rams return home to the Coliseum to face the Baltimore Colts and Johnny Unitas. Rated the NFL's best passer for many seasons, Unitas had his greatest year in '63, and just the week before this game with the Rams, he threw 4 touchdown passes and accounted for 400 aerial yards in leading the Colts to victory. With Gabriel coming fresh off his fine 3-touchdown day at Detroit, Coliseum fans are eagerly anticipating the duel between the young Ram and the brilliant Baltimore vet. The Rams get moving from their own 30. It's Wilson carrying. He hits off left tackle for 12 yards. We see another of those patented runs by Dick Bass as he goes over the right side. He stiff arms number 40, Bobby Boyd, races down the sideline 51 yards to the Baltimore 7. Watch center Ken Kirk here. He does a fine job of blocking, keeping his man out of the way as Gabriel alertly scrambles up the middle for 6 yards. This sets it up for Art Perkins. Big Art pushes into the end zone before being pushed back. The Rams take a 7-3 lead. We're in the second quarter now. Here we see one of pro football's most famous passing combinations at work. As Unitas spots Raymond Berry, the play is good for 16 yards. Unitas always seems to know exactly the right time to call for the draw play, and he does it here. Jerry Hill gets through the line and goes 20 yards to put Baltimore back in front, 10-7. Former linebacker Marlon McKeever made his debut as a tight end in this game, but Marlon looks like an old pro as our Delco camera follows him racing across the middle and making his first catch in the second quarter. The play nets 28 yards. Gabriel now calls for a screen pass. Joe Carollo, Charlie Cowan, and Ken Kirk are in front of Bass as blockers when he takes the short toss. Dick goes to the 1-yard line before he is pushed out of bounds. Perkins comes in to make his second carry of the game. He gives it the old swan dive and scores his second touchdown. The Rams take a 14-10 lead. Later, the Colts kick a field goal, and the Rams' lead is cut to 14-13 at halftime. It's still a typical Colt-Ram thriller as we open the second half. Villanueva booms the kickoff, and it's taken by Baltimore rookie speedster John Mackey. He returns to the 31 before Ram rookie John Griffin makes solid contact. Unitas now moves the Colts into scoring range with a short pass over the middle. Hill takes it, and the play covers 30 yards. But at this point, the Colt drive stalls, and they must call on the toe of the NFL's comeback player of the year, 39-year young Jim Martin. Martin's 41-yarder is perfect, and the seesaw game again favors the Colts. They lead now by a score of 16-14. Ram halfback Carver Shannon, who finished among the NFL kickoff return leaders and had one for 99 yards, returns this one 33 yards before he's knocked out of bounds. Now Gabriel relies on the Ram running game to spearhead a comeback. Here Bass hits up the middle for 9 yards to the 42. And Bass makes the big block on this crucial play. His work on Don Shinnick keeps the big linebacker away and enables Wilson to turn outside and head for the sidelines. Big Ben wards off tacklers and picks up 39 yards before he's derailed close to the goal. Again, the Rams call on Villanueva for the decider, and Danny's short field goal gives them the lead 17-16. The tough Ram defenders, led by Rosie Greer, who later was awarded the game ball, held the Colts scoreless for the final 25 minutes, and the final gun signals another Ram victory.
For the big job of starting your car, you need big power. The big, bold power of a Delco DC-12 dry charge battery. Delco delivers big power, all the fresh, full power you pay for, because Delco stays dry till you buy. Then, activator fluid unleashes Delco's energy, brings it alive with power, fresh, new power. So big, it makes you wonder how it can be packed under the hood of your car to give you those positive, powerful starts. Whenever you need to replace your old battery, Get the big power of a Delco DC-12. For fresh, new starting power, simply say, Delco.
Each year, the Rams try to spotlight for you in this special film the best plays of their top stars in action and give you some insight into the components of a pro football team. This year, we're going a bit further. Not only are we going to show you the top stars and their top plays, but we're also going to show you a close-up inside peek at these same players off the field, without their helmets and pads and away from their primary job of playing football. For instance, Roman Gabriel in a uniform and throwing a football is most familiar to you. But here's Roman off-season at his North Carolina beach home with his wife, Susan, and his young sons, Robin and Ram. However, the man who is simply daddy to these two little boys is something else to opposing teams. He's the man with the best fastball this side of Sandy Koufax. He's big and strong and tough, and he stays in the pocket with courage. This pass against the Vikings is complete to John Adams. But it's not all play and relaxation during the offseason for the Rams stars. Here's Dick Bass paying a visit to the club office to check on a play with offensive backfield coach Don Heinrich. Heinrich is diagramming for Bass a play which often was good for big yardage during 1963 and went for a touchdown against San Francisco. Now here's that touchdown play. Notice the fine second effort by Bass after he's hit short of the goal. Offensive tackle Frank Vericchione is one of football's champion family men. Here he is at his Hilltop home with daughter Vicky. Son Frankie, wife Mitzi and little Lori, and Terry with Daddy himself. And on Sunday, the arrow points to old Daddy Frank as he does a big job of protecting the passer and helping the Rams make a big gain. That's Marlon McKeever on the receiving end of the play. Frank, number 70, at the top of the screen here, is a versatile blocker. He slams into a would-be Chicago Bear tackler as Bass runs around in for a nice gain. Guard Charlie Cowan and his family live near the Coliseum, and Big Charlie sometimes takes daughter Nathalie with him when he visits the empty stadium for off-season running. And the speed developed in those sprints pays off. The arrow points to Charlie just before he blasts Baltimore's Lenny Lyles with a vicious block, which earned him the Rammer of the Week award from his coaches. In Jim Phillips is one Ram who is establishing himself with a big manufacturing firm in the Los Angeles area. Often, some of his fellow employees are on hand to watch the great flanker at work on his other job. This is one of Jim's finest catches of '63, a long one from Gabriel. Then Red shows why both of his employers think he has the drive and determination to succeed at any business. Selling cars is Marlon McKeever's job when he's not on duty with the Rams, and the former USC star is a big success in both endeavors. The arrow points to Marlon as he makes a key block. And Bass rolls for a touchdown against the Packers. McKeever's switch to tight end was one of the Rams' key moves of 1963. Another big improvement was the offensive line play. Our Delco slow-motion camera shows great efforts by the whole forward wall. There's a resulting gaping hole in the San Francisco 49er defense and a touchdown by Bass. Ram coaches hope this kind of improvement continues in 1964. But all of the Rams' 1963 improvement was not in the offensive department. Player coach Lyndon Crow's defensive backfield had its moments of glory, too. And the coaching staff worked hard with the big four-man defensive line to improve the rush and the passer. Quarterbacks like Bill Wade of the Chicago Bears know well that the rush was improved, and it certainly helped the defensive backs do their job. That defense is a total team effort is demonstrated beautifully on this play. And one of the Rams' finest team players is defensive captain Eddie Metter, whose off-season occupation is one with a big future once his playing days have ended. A close-up of Eddie Metter reveals a youthful-looking, almost mild-appearing businessman. But in his other business suit, the blue and gold one, Metter definitely is not mild-mannered. He plays off the blocker and throws the ball carrier for a loss. A determined and rugged defensive star is Lamar Lundy. The giant defensive end relaxes off-season with his own children, Ronnie and Vicky. He also works with youth groups as a teacher and instructor. Against Minnesota last season, he taught the Vikings a lesson, too. The arrow points to Big Lamar as he stops a running play. Coaches felt Lundy's 1963 play was as consistent as any defensive end in the league. Another big defensive man who gave consistently good performance in 1963 was tackle Merlin Olsen. Merlin visits friends at the Rams office prior to helping the West to victory in the All-Star Pro Bowl game in January. And plays like this one helped Merlin to make that Pro Bowl team. Linebacker Mike Henry has a new job as an apprentice film editor at a network station in Hollywood. Here we see film editor Mike as he views a recent screen test by an actor named Mike Henry. The handsome USC grad is a veteran of many TV and movie roles, but the Rams' loyal fans think his best role is that of a middle linebacker. Henry made 5 interceptions last year, and this is one of them. He's a key man in Ram plans for a big 1964 season. Another linebacker who had a big year in 1963 is Jack Pardee, whose great play earned him first-team All-Pro honors. Jack is a longtime employee of a Los Angeles title search company. It's work he not only enjoys, but it adds to his total income for the year. Now the arrow points to Pardee before he rushes through the line to nail Chicago Bear fullback Rick Caceres. Coach Harlan Savari and his staff were encouraged by the 1963 play of the Ram Stars you have just met, but they feel even the best of them can still improve. Consistency of effort is all important, says Savari, and now, knowing they can win, consistency will be the goal. Both on and off the field, hard work by everyone is the organization's keynote for 1964. And Old 98 offers his best wishes to Coach Savari and good luck to the team. Now, while we watch some of the slam-bang action highlights of other 1963 games, let's take a look at what's in store for the Rams' loyal fans. The team figures to be improved. Gabriel has gained valuable experience. A highly successful signing campaign has added some top rookies to the squad. John Arnett, hampered by injuries last year, is once again in top shape. The offensive line was improving rapidly at the end of last season. All things considered, even the heated and rugged competition of the NFL's Western Division, the Rams are still optimistic. Another improvement for Ram fans, and this one is a certainty, is the new Coliseum, which was revamped during the off-season to add comfortable individual seating and a repositioning of the playing field to bring it approximately 15 yards closer to all of the 30,000 seats in the west end of the stadium. In short, more comfortable seating and, more important, more good seats for more fans. And now from these improved seats, this is the kind of action you'll be watching. Yes, sir, action is the name of the game, and National League football action is provided by the very best players in the world. In the Coliseum this year, you will see the world champion Chicago Bears, who claim they are the best defensive team ever put together. The mighty Green Bay Packers, now doubly determined to return to the top of the heap. The Detroit Lions, a colorful club with a magnificent crew of pass receivers. The Minnesota Vikings, Norm Van Brocklyn's cocky and exciting young team. The Baltimore Colts, featuring Johnny Unitas, the most renowned aerial artist in the game. And the San Francisco 49ers, who hope they have ditched the injury jinx and firmly believe they have a star of the future in All-American quarterback George Myra. All of these clubs, plus the Cleveland Browns and Jimmy Brown, the Dallas Cowboys, and one other Eastern Conference opponent. To ensure a seat for every one of these games, simply call or write the Rams office. That's Webster 38291 or 7813 Beverly Boulevard. That number, Webster 38291 or 7813 Beverly Boulevard. This special sports feature, Highlights of the Rams in Action, has been a presentation of United Delco. And this is Tom Harmon reminding you that for United Delco service, Delco DC-12 dry charge batteries and Delco Remy replacement parts, simply say Delco.